So children, let's begin a lesson. All right, so today we are doing Sec 2 Mathematics and we are into the revision. Revision means that some of you are already finishing off your WA already, your work assessment in school. Some of you are having common tests, let's say on Friday or something like that. All right, so we are going to do some revision and hopefully I'm able to cover some of the questions that will be coming out for your test. And when it appears, you will be saying, thank you, Teacher Ben. All right. So now let's go into the first question, which is actually a homework from last week. All right, which is a homework from last week. So Noah, you will not be able to see this question on the website because this was a question I gave to the student who came last week. All right, so very, very important, very common kind of question. Let's take a look. So the first thing first, hello Sherman, are you there?
Hello.
Thank you. All right, so the question asks you to expand and to simplify. All right, so children, what does the square means? All right, to me, right, the square means a duplicate. Duplicate means what? It's like a twins, right? You know what's the meaning of twins? They look the same, right? So n minus 1 over n, you have to write another n minus 1 over n. Can you see not? Isn't this twins? It's not the Korea or Taiwan pop group what twins not Blackpink or what Pink all right, so it's a duplicate, is they look exactly like each other. Then what happened? The question asks you to expand, right? So what must you do? Expand lah, right? So n times n will give you a n square. N times minus 1 over n. If you don't know, you can do a side working. N times negative 1 over n. What do you get? All right, this n is actually n over 1. So what you do? In primary school, we do this. The top and the bottom, if they have the same thing, you can cancel. All right, and eventually after you cancel, you're left with a minus 1. Can you see that? All right, so n and n can cancel. So down here, you have a negative 1. All right, moving forward down here. Minus 1 over n times n, isn't it the same thing as this? Yes. So you will have another negative 1. So you can do a side working like this. Your teacher will not laugh at you. All right. And the last portion is actually to multiply negative 1 over n times negative 1 over n. So how do you multiply it? Minus times minus is a plus. Numerator times numerator, 1 times 1. N times n is an n square. It's not a 2n, it is an n square. So down here, put a plus 1 over n square. And you simplify a little bit, n square, minus 1, please be careful. If you don't know, press your calculator. By now, your teacher should allow calculator for all the test paper already. All right, so that's why I always try to encourage you to use your calculator to solve to get the final answer before working backwards. Minus 1 is actually a minus 2 plus 1 over n square. Ta-da! And this will be your answer, children. Hey, but this is the normal expansion. Yeah, if you would know the special algebraic identity rule, all right, you can actually do it faster. All right, remember rule number 2? Rule number 2 is the negative. A minus B square is actually equal to front square minus 2 front back plus back square. This is algebraic rule number 2. All right. So how do you know is to use algebraic rule 2? Because of the minus sign out here. Yeah? All right. So if you use the algebraic rule 2 to expand, all right, you can write it as front square minus 2 front back plus back square. All right. And eventually your answer will be n squared minus. Down here, your n and n will also cancel. So it's like minus 2 times 1 is minus 2. Plus 1 times 1 is 1. N times n is n squared. Is it the same thing? Of course, it's the same thing. It must give you the same answer. All right, children. All right, it's just 2 different methods. So you can use the traditional rainbow method to do the answer, to get to the answer, or you can use the algebraic rule 2 to get to the answer. Can? But children, can I say something? Because you are Sec 2 Express, you are going into Sec 3. Sec 3, you might have a chance to do something called additional math. your expansion must be super fast and must be super accurate. My advice to you, use your special algebraic identity rules as best as you can. All right, because in future you will need it a lot, especially in Sec 3. Trust me. Can? So you have to build up the confidence, you have to build up the way to do it fast, all right, and accurate. Okay, so now, part B, do you see the word hence? The meaning of hence means what? You have to relate to part A. So given that n minus 1 over n is equal to 4, find the value of n squared plus 1 over n squared. All right. Do you see that this portion, right, very familiar? N minus 1 over n, isn't it like down here? Right. Right. So it's like down there, right? So it's just that it's short of the bracket. All right. So n minus 1 over n, this one, question says is equal to 4. All right. But what happens in part A? Part A, there's a square, right? So what do you do, children? Whatever you do on one side, you do on the other side. That's the beauty of mathematics. All right. That's the reason why I like mathematics. It's fair. It's all about being fair. Whatever you do on the left-hand side, so that you can what? Get to the part A down here, you do on the right-hand side. It's perfectly okay. All right. And this portion, right? This portion is actually what you see in part A. All right. And did you expand it just now? Yes. I expand it to get n squared minus 2 plus 1 over n squared. I expanded it just now. And what is 4 times 4? Please, it's not 8. Stop it. Press your calculator. 4 times 4 is a 16. Okay? And what do you see? Can you see that the question wants n squared plus 1 over n squared? The question wants n squared plus 1 over n squared. It doesn't want the minus 2 down here. So how? Push the minus 2 to the other side. Minus, if you go across the equal, will give you a plus 2. Can you see? And what is left behind? N squared plus 1 over n squared is left behind. 16 is still down here. All right, isn't this what the question is looking for? 16 plus 2 is 18. Ta-da, ta-da-da-da-da-da. And that will be your answer. Not too tough, right? Not too tough. All right, so this type of question, let me tell you, right, it's very common. All right, you have to use whatever in part A to help you in your part B. It's very common. All right, so be very, very flexible. All right, and don't be afraid of this type of question. Is that okay? All right. So if you have any question, you can actually go to the chat and highlight to me. All right. If not, all right, let's go into our first activity of the day. All right, of the night actually. All right, it's actually called Kahoot. All right, so this time around, the Kahoot question is actually quite simple. Don't worry about it, about expansion and factorization. All right, so please take out your handphone or use your laptop to go in. I'm launching Kahoot right now. Okay, so here are the 10 questions that you see in Kahoot. All right, let me just quickly go through them. All right, so expansion, right? Please be careful. All right, if you can do the expansion in your head, you should be fast enough already. X times X is X squared. X times 3 is 3X. 2 times X is 2X. 2 times 3 is 6. All right, you're supposed to do this without drawing the lines itself. So down here is X squared plus 5X plus 6. All right, you should be able to do this in less than 20 seconds. All right, children? Oh, please train up. Down here, bracket means a multiplication. All right, please remember that this cube, right? This cube is only for the B only. All right, so you have minus 3B cubed times 5B. Actually, don't put the bracket. So what do you do? All right, remember that the cube is only for the B. I read this as negative 3 times 5. Negative 3 times 5 is a negative 15. All right, then the next portion will be B cubed times B. All right, so I do number by number, alphabet by alphabet. B cubed times B is actually a B4, and that's your answer. All right, so this type of question, you sometimes have to be careful if it is, for example, do you know that 2B squared, all right, is not equal to 2B bracket square? Do you know that they are totally different? So be careful of the bracket here. What does this bracket mean? This bracket means that everything inside, you're supposed to square it. Means that you're supposed to duplicate it like that. Can you see or not? Which means that 2 times 2 is a 4, b times b is a b squared. All right. That's why I always tell you to be careful that this square, right, is only for the b alone. It's not for the 2. All right. Therefore, these two are totally not equal. All right. They are not equal. So be careful. Ask yourself, what does the square represent? Is the square for the b or is the square for everybody? All right. You have to be super careful down here. This one, I believe all of you got correct, most of you. 3a times b is 3ab. 3a times 4 is a 12a. All right, most of you got this correct. Good job. All right. Okay, this one, question 4. Also very important, usually come out for the test one. All right, you have a squared plus b squared is 13. You have ab is 6. Down here, I told you about this fast method, right? What's the fast method? Special algebraic identity. Front squared plus 2 front back plus back square. All right, that's why I say that your algebraic identity rules must be strong. And what did the question say? The question say a squared plus b squared is 13. Isn't it down here? A squared plus b squared, isn't it 13? Yes, right? Down here, the question say AB is a 6. Isn't down here AB? Isn't this a 6? All right. And it's a 2 times 6 actually. All right. 2AB, right? Means 2 times 6, right? All right. Then the 30 must plus, right? Because it's is the operation sign is a plus. So 2 times 6 is 12. 12 plus 13 is a 25. And that's your answer. Yeah, some of you thinking too much. 25 was the only like square number, okay? All right. So this is the proper way to do it. So sometimes you need to expand. You have to use your initiative to expand. All right. Question will not tell you to do this first, after that do that, then do that. For example, if you're a doctor, all right, you're a surgeon, you need to read your textbook when you operate on me. Scary. First, must open up his chest. Next, you must do this. If you are given an instruction to do a surgery on me, I'm very scared, you know. All right. So maybe next time if you are becoming doctors, right, and you need somebody to give you the instruction, all right, that'll be quite scary, right? Right. So you have to use your own initiative. You must know what exactly to do. All right. This vein, the blood bursts. Do what? Must stop the bleeding lah. How to stop the bleeding? I don't know. Right. You might have to put your finger at the vein so that the leakage will stop. Then you have to use your suture it and all this. Wow, act like some Korean drama movie like that, huh? All right. Okay, anyway, not important. All right, so what is important is that you have to have your own initiative to know what to do next. Nobody is going to tell you step 1, step 2, step 3. You must know what to do. All right, moving forward. Down here, all of you got it right. You take out the common 7 to give you a 8 plus x. All right, good job. All right, this is called taking out the common term, stage 1. All right, stage 1 is called taking out the common term. All right. Question 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, a quick one. Down here, number 6, right? I told you not to expand. All right, I reminded you not to expand. Why? Can you see that this is also considered a common term? M plus 1 and M plus 1 is the repeated item, right? If they are the repeated item, they are what we call the common term. They are common. So what do you do with the common? Take the common term out. And the remaining item, which is M plus 4, the remaining item put in another bracket like here. Can you see? So this is your answer. So you don't have to expand. All right, you don't have to expand. You have to put the common item together, the remaining item put in a bracket. This is actually called taking out the common term. Okay, question number 7, the simplest form. Ayo, this one and nobody got it right, so upset. All right, number with number. 12 and 15, they are part of the 3 timetable. Divide by 3, divide by 3. All right, this one not helpful. All right, because all the answer is all 4 over 5. Next one, a squared and a. What does a squared means? A squared means there are a and a on top. And down here, A means there's only one A. So you cancel this out.